Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm just reaching down for my coffee. I have my new LL Bean Peanuts coffee cup, and I made a little bit of coffee earlier, so I thought, I'm going to bring my coffee onto this video with me and read a few meditations. I have not read some meditations over here in a while, so I went and I grabbed the Melody Beatty books today, and I looked at the titles. I haven't read the meditations, but I looked at the titles, and I really liked the titles of them, so I thought, let's get into these meditations and read. So, I don't know that I'm going to get to both of them. It depends on how long they are. The first one that I'm going to read from is from The Language of Letting Go, which is the sister book to Codependent No More by Melody Beatty. So if you've read Codependent No More, this is the meditation book that goes along with it. I think most people know by now that this is my favorite meditation book of life. I absolutely, absolutely love it. A close second is Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty, which is a later meditation book that she came out with. So these would also make really great Christmas presents, and if you guys want to see them, what they look like, where to find them, I have my Amazon whatever box listed below. You don't have to buy them over there, but just so you can see them and whatever. I mean, I've seen them at Half Price Books. I've seen them at Goodwill before, Barnes & Noble, thrift books. You can buy them anywhere online if you just look them up. And they have different covers on them sometimes and things like that. But they would make, absolutely wonderful Christmas presents for family members or even like, friends and things like that. My friends and I give meditation books to each other, but, we're in recovery, so it kind of makes sense. But I don't know, I just think especially these, because these are about recovery, but they're also about, especially like Journey to the Heart is not one that is so much about this one, Language of Letting Go talks about step 1, step 6, that will be a whole meditation. But in this one, it's more stories of her life and relating them to different kind of lessons that she's learned. So, and if you're also looking for other meditation books, Hazelden Books, if you just type in on Google, Hazelden, Hazeldon Books, has a bookstore full of really, really great recovery books. And I have purchased books for years for friends of mine and myself from Hazelden Books. So if that's another resource that you guys can find those things on. So anyway, all right, let's get into the first meditation, and that is from The Language of Letting Go, November 22nd, The Magic of Gratitude and Acceptance. And I thought this would be a good meditation to read, especially, in being the month of gratitude and coming up on Thanksgiving and things like that. And anytime I can talk about gratitude, I think is a great time. Gratitude and acceptance are two magic tricks available to us in recovery, or any of us. No matter who we are, where we are, or what we have, gratitude and acceptance work. We may eventually become so happy that we realize our present circumstances are good, or we master our present circumstances and then move forward into the next set of circumstances. If we become stuck, miserable, feeling trapped, and hopeless, try gratitude and acceptance. If we have tried unsuccessfully to alter our present circumstances and have begun to feel like we're beating our head against a brick wall, try gratitude and acceptance. If we feel like all is dark and the night will never end, try gratitude and acceptance. If we feel scared and uncertain, try gratitude and acceptance. If we've tried everything else and nothing seems to work, try gratitude and acceptance. If we've been fighting something, try gratitude and acceptance. When all else fails, go back to the basics. Gratitude and acceptance work. Today, God, help me let go of my resistance. Help me know the pain of a circumstance will stop hurting so much if I accept it. I will practice the basics of gratitude and acceptance in my life and for all my present circumstances. I'm going to try to keep this as ambiguous as possible. In my recovery, there have been numerous situations where I have had the honor and the privilege of being in a meeting when somebody has gone through a horrible tragedy in their life, like having lost a loved one in a very tragic way. And let's say it happened at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're at a noon meeting and they will bring up the topic of gratitude. And it's just I can remember the first time it happened. I remember specifically who it was and how it happened. And just being I want what they have. How do you get there? How do you get to the point where you are so out of self-pity and so out of, you know, just feeling sorry for yourself and all of that, that you have gone through this horrific thing, right? 4 hours previously. And the first thing you do is call up somebody to take you to a meeting. And then you bring up the topic of gratitude in that meeting. And share about all of the things that you've been given in this life. That's a miracle. You know, that's really, really, truly a miracle. I am a believer that gratitude is an action. And that is, you know, it's the act of being grateful. It's doing gratitude lists. It's about looking at those things that we're grateful for on a regular basis, you know. I shared on here recently that every night I do like, you know, a gratitude list when I do my prayers. And I always say first to my higher power that I'm grateful for my life, sobriety, and my health. And somebody commented on that and said that they had never thought of it that way. Well, if I don't have those three things, I don't really have a whole lot else, you know? I don't have my husband, I don't have my dog, I don't have my home, I don't have you, I don't have YouTube, which is like my love of my life and my passion. I don't have books to read, I don't have TV shows to watch, I don't have my friends, my family, I don't have any of that, you know? And it kind of starts there and then goes down. I think for me, like when I have in the last 27 years of my life, when I've been going through really tough times, I think it's been, I've had to look at the things that, you know, I have been given in this life and focus on that, you know. And it's also about acceptance of where we're at. I think so many times it's so easy to feel sorry for ourselves and to say, you know, if you knew what my situation was like, or if you had gone through what I went through or whatever, right? And I think that we all deserve to have moments where we feel sorry for ourselves. I really do, you know? I don't think any of us is a perfect example of what it's like to be a perfect person. There is no such thing as perfection, you know? I did this book study. If you watch my vlog, you know this, but I did this book study during the lockdown. It started. We ended up doing it for 2 more years after that. But since then, a couple of my friends have had like other things with their kids and stuff, so they can't do it anymore. But there were about 6 of us that would meet every Monday night on Zoom, and we would do this like book study where we read different recovery books. And during one time, one of my friends, we were talking about perfectionism, and I said, I'm such a perfectionist, like I always aim to, you know, do the best and whatever and yada, yada, yada. And when it came to her, and like we would talk directly to each other. It wasn't like a 12-step meeting. It was just like a book study. And so we felt very comfortable like saying things directly to each other. When it came to my friend, she said, Peter, I call bullshit. She said, there is no such thing as a perfect person, you know? And to say that you're a perfectionist is kind of, or to say that you aim at perfectionism is kind of to say that you really don't believe in a higher power, number one. And number two, it's arrogance, ego, and pride to think that you can ever achieve that. And it's not to say that, okay, well, if I'm not a perfectionist, then I'm just going to be doomed to failure. It's not about that, right? It's about hiding behind this guise of saying, you know, like, oh, I'm such a perfectionist, blah, 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 whatever. It's about acceptance of the fact that most of us are just doing the best job that we can to get by, you know? And like I said, like, I think that we all deserve those moments to feel sorry for ourselves. I don't take that away from people, you know? When friends of mine or family members of mine are going through really difficult times, you know, I'm not like a person to like, I think if you watch my drama channel, you probably think, oh, Peter's probably standing there behind them going like, you need to pull yourself together. You know, sure, you know, after a month or two, maybe, you know, I'll be like, okay, like, you know, the relationship's been over now for a while. Like, what do we need to do to like, can I help you move through this pain? And like, you know, like, let's go, you know, do something and whatever. I think that we all need to cry and allow ourselves to grieve whatever situations we're going through and to feel that pain. And we have a right to feel sorry for ourselves. Absolutely, you do, right? I just don't want to feel sorry for myself for 10 years and miss out on life. I just don't, you know? And I was just watching the documentary called Pepsi, Where's My Jet? And I'm going to do a review of it on my review channel. But if you watch the documentary, one of the people that they talk about in there is this guy that like he's like a mountain climber. There's like 2 of them that climb mountains, and they're like Mount Everest. And at one point, he has a brain tumor. And at another point, like towards the end of the documentary, he has like cancer. And they're like, you can't go climb this mountain because you have to go and have this like tumor removed. And he's like, okay, well, that's a problem because I'm going to climb this mountain, you know? And he ends up having the tumor taken out and whatever, but I won't ruin it for you. You guys can watch it. But, you know, I think it's this idea, and I was also watching this, and something else I was watching, I can't remember, but it's not just about learning how to survive, it's also learning about how to live, you know, and that we have to learn to live amidst bad things happening to us, because they are going to continue to happen to us, you know. I can remember when I got sober, somebody said to me early, you know, like learning to get sober, and this is in our book, but it just talks about it being a design for living. It doesn't say you get sober and only good things are going to happen from then on. It says you're going to get sober and you're going to learn a new way of life. You're going to get sober and learn how to handle these situations. You know, in the promises, it teaches us that we're going to cease fighting anyone and anything, you know, and that we'll know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. That's part of acceptance and gratitude. You know, I was talking to my cousin Caroline today. It's like something's happened to me in the last 3 to 4 years, 5 years, where like I don't feel a need. I was so forced to have to take a look at myself, always reacting to every situation, everything that everybody had to say to me, right? If somebody said something to me, I was so quick to respond or react to it. I think it really forced me to kind of realize, like, I don't have to have an opinion about everything. Like, I can shut my mouth, right? And just have some acceptance with the moment. And unless somebody asks me, I mean, with my channels, this is different, but this is in my personal life. Unless somebody asks me for my personal opinion, I don't have to always share it, you know? I can just sit there. And people share it, and I'll say, and my friend Tanya Jean taught me this, to ask this question, are you sure you really want to hear what I have to say about this, you know? And then I'll share it. But I don't always have to, you know, I don't have to participate in the party. I don't have to engage, you know, like my sponsor says, you know, let them twirl, let them spin, you know, it's their party, you know, you don't have to engage in that dance. And I think that's a lot about, you know, acceptance and gratitude. I think if you've never done a gratitude list before, maybe take this as an opportunity to just sit down while you're watching TV tonight, or, you know, 10 minutes to yourself, or if you want to do a lengthy one, see how many things you can write down. Just look around your house and write down things, from your TV to your DVR to the books that you have, you know, to my ring light, to my life, to my health, to my sobriety, to this hat, to getting to have cousin fun day with my cousin today, to the brunch that I had, to the coffee that I'm drinking, to the new shoes that I have, to the fact that I have shoes to wear, you know, and that I have warm clothes to wear, and that I have a house to live in that's warm during winter, and that I have heat, and I have running water, and that I have clean water to drink, you know, on and on and on and on. It's like when people say to me, like, I just have such a hard time coming up with things to be grateful for. Really? I think that's so telling. I really do. Are you so into self that you can't get out of yourself a little bit and see the world around you that has been given to you? The amazing life, even those of us that have, maybe some of us have very, very little. I've been so overwhelmingly blessed with so much. And I'm not just talking about superficial nice things, but that too, you know. But I'm blessed so much on a daily basis, from having a warm bed, to electricity, to running water, to plumbing, you know, to have a toilet, to drinkable water, to have a refrigerator to store my food in, you know, on and on and on, to have warm shoes to wear, you know. And I think about that, you know, and I think about like all of the people when I was going to, there were several years where I was going to homeless shelters for meetings, and we call those Skid Row meetings sometimes, you know, and I would see people come in for a cup of coffee and a sandwich and then leave, and not knowing where they were going, you know, and but there was a joy on their face, you know, and they would go into, and they were on waiting lists for halfway houses, and they didn't complain, you know. And I look at that and I think, oh God, Peter, you were given so much. You were given so much, you know. Like, let's focus on that. Let's focus on the gratitude of what you were given instead of complaining about what you don't have, you know. A friend of mine in early recovery, he was like, I think he said he made this prayer up. He was in my aftercare group. And the prayer is very simple to remember, but I love it to this day. And it is, God, help me to want what I already have. And I love that prayer so much. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.